While we can admit that there are seasons, cycles, and natures, phases to life, it seems as though we don't realize that these natural phases can happen in relationships. It's as though the honeymoon phase is supposed to last forever, and we're always supposed to have these stars in our eyes and be so magical and feel so loved and comfortable and safe. And when we get to those points where it's not the same, how do we move forward? Sometimes we realize that it's natural and it can pass and we can bring back the spark and joy. And a lot of the times it seems as though once something goes wrong in relationships, the relationship is over. It's dead, it's done for, it's donezo. There's no point in going back. I'm moving on, you're moving on. Clearly, we're just not meant to be like we thought we were. This is a challenging phase and way to be in life because that prevents us from developing relationship skills, really making sure that we're connected to our partners, and it leaves life lackluster or a series of novel encounters as we have to keep meeting new people to fill our pipeline and keep ourselves juiced up and ready for more. I'm Latia, I'm a confidence coach, and sex and attraction are some of my favorite areas to study and look into. And this came up in the book that I'm reading, The Sex Issue. Layla Martin goes over how do you keep the spark in a relationship, or is it normal to get bored, is more accurately the title of her section. And I really enjoyed reading this. She talks about how there are relationship cycles. The spring is very passionate and engaging and fun. The summer is very sexy, lots of sex. It's heat, it's amazing. Fall, I don't know what she really says about that because it didn't seem like there was much about it, but let's imagine it's cooling down a little, and then in winter it's nobody wants the sex. We are just no. And I like how she creates this idea of a healthy sex life is where both partners are getting their sexual needs met. So it's only unhealthy if one person wants a lot of sex and is not getting that sex, and so they feel dissatisfied, or someone who doesn't want a lot of sex is having a lot of sex that they don't want to have. That it's more about in a unique, intimate encounter than it is about following any norms, standards, or rules. So what really sticks with me about this is that for me personally, I don't have very many long-term relationships or relationships in general. So the only time I had a guy that was my boyfriend was when I was in high school. I wasn't really supposed to date. I felt guilty the whole time. He threatened to punch a fat kid, and I was just oh my gosh, no, sure, I'll be your girlfriend. We don't have to do anything crazy, whatever. And it didn't get crazy. We kissed. We went our separated over summer. My dad didn't want me to text boys, and I was yes, I don't want to text them anyways. And then we come back to school, he's I had sex, and then we were awkward, and our mutual friend was okay, are y'all together or not? We chose not, and then he was oh, this is my girlfriend, we have sex, and I was she ugly, I don't care, whatever, have fun. So my relationship experience is usually limited to my friends, any coaching relationships that I have, coworkers, or family. So when it comes to family, I got lucky / made the best of it because it's I can't get rid of my sisters. And fortunately, we have been able to love and enjoy each other no matter what challenges have arisen. So we are able to express ourselves more or less. As we grow up, I feel we're starting to, one of my sisters, we're close, and there are definitely lots of things that we don't say to each other all the time. And we're starting to be a little more honest with each other and open up and share when we're frustrated or dissatisfied. And that's challenging, and it's also kind of nice and fun because there are things that we need to start discussing and having that connection around so that we can feel fulfilled in our relationship instead of just this one. Not that it's that, but at the same time, we're human. It feels that way sometimes. And then it comes to friends, and I have a small group of friends that I know are very true and will stick around no matter what. I would say right now I have 3 people that I really engage in on a regular basis, check in with, feel rejuvenated by our encounters and interactions. And one of those people, we definitely had a weird phase where we pulled apart and went away. And then one day we just gravitated towards each other again and have been keeping in touch ever since. But when it comes to other relationships, for me, work and even like coaching relationships, it's very interesting because last night I had a coaching call with my coach, and it was awful. It was so frustrating. It was like, oh, you're a level 9? How do you get to level 10? I guess like giving more information when people ask questions. Great. Now let me ask you the same question 50 times until we have gone over time. You're frustrated and you really just want to shut me up. And it's like, are you kidding me? Oh my God, you're just like the people at my job where it's like, I answer your question and you ask the same thing 50 freaking times. It's like, are you stupid? Jesus Christ. It's so annoying to me. Like, I really don't have patience for people, especially in situations where like, for me, I'm like, okay, if you think you're so great and this is what I needed because you're clearly an oracle and like God, then what is it that I'm supposed to get out of the fact that you are reminding me of the disempowered, frustrated feelings that I get from every other relationship that I really wish would end? Like, what value is there to that? Because all you've done is piss me off and make me feel like I'm wasting my money on this coaching thing. Because I'm like, you did exactly what my last coach did, which she did it worse because I had like bowel issues, and it was just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to feel empowered when I'm sitting on a toilet trying to like make sure I keep my house clean. Like, stop. So for me, I'm like, well, life happens for me, not to me. What can I learn from this situation? And the sex issue where it talks about the cycles in relationships is what came up for me as a solution, where a lot of times in my relationships, especially with potential friendships with people who are kind of like, I don't know, we just don't get along, something happens. It's like something bad happens and the relationship is over. So there's a situation, this person does something, I take space, they take space, and we just don't come back. And it's just like, okay, cool. If you don't want to be friends with me, whatever. So for me, it's like in a lot of relationships, there's an end. There's an end point. And sometimes for me, I feel like I'm highly likely the person who checks out first, where I'm just like, all right, I'm over this. Are we done yet? Like, can I go home? Can I get something to eat? Like, will you just shut up? Like, I don't have the energy or time or care. Like, I'm not in it for making you feel good and happy. Like, this is a me thing. And right now I'm not getting what I need and I'm just out. And I know I went to this, Christian event thing that happened, and one of the people there was like, you've got a spirit of rejection around you. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but okay, I've got a spirit of rejection around me. I don't know if you mean you think I reject other people or other people reject me, but yes, I have a lot of experience with rejection. And so for me, I'm like, okay, how do I look at this? Like, how can I look at this situation? Not because she told me to, because I'm defiant. And I'm like, a lot of my defiant, frustrated side is coming out, where I'm like, Jesus, you really think you know something special, don't you? Because I can tell you're trying to get something specific out of me to where you're satisfied with this encounter. And I'm like, I really don't think it's as deep as you're like making it out to be. Yes, I'm frustrated with my job. Yes, I would like to feel like I would like a different job. Like, that's really what I want. I don't feel engaged. I can tell like the time is like dwindling for my time there. I can tell that like it feels like I'm getting treated like I'm not as smart as I am or adding the value that I'm adding. And so it just feels like very frustrating all around when someone newer gets like basically promoted over me. And it's just like, yeah, you think I'm gonna be okay with that? No, like, screw you. I'm not okay with that. So there's like other frustrations, and like literally this was like based on like 2 comments that people told me, which were like, if you do project management of your work and you over communicate things, people will leave you alone and they'll be okay. They'll like learn to trust you. That's it. That's literally all that came from. It didn't come from some deep, wide, like, oh my God, I'm so upset with myself, I just don't do that. No, it's literally just feedback that I get from work. People like it when you communicate more, because it's tech. A lot of people don't actually know what goes into doing your work. And so when you explain it more deeply, it helps them be on the same page as you, which makes sense. It's freaking logical. I've been told this multiple times within this experience at this job, and that is literally all that is happening, that I am trying to learn to communicate in such a way that they feel okay and leave me alone and let me do my work. That's all I want. I have very few desires for this job outside of like just me being at peace and getting my shit done. That's it. Nothing big, nothing bold, nothing crazy or ridiculous. Like, I'm not that, like, I feel like I'm not that invested. Like, I'm kind of hitting this point where I'm like, oh my God, it's just a job. It's just paying the bills. It is just a way for me to explore myself and like what I need. And she's of the mindset that like, if there's an area of weakness and disempowerment in your life, it's going to hold you back in other areas. And I'm like, I hear you. Cool. If I'm okay with it, please stop having a problem with it. I get it. It's high performance coaching. You're supposed to be on level 10 in every area of your life. And if I'm a fucking 9, God damn it, that's okay. Please stop. Back off my balls. Hop off my jock. Stop licking this clit. I don't want it. Like, don't infuse me with your agenda and act like it's my problem. And that's where I feel like a lot of people in relationships go wrong. Everyone wants to tell you how to live your life. Everyone wants to be your guru and your advisor, and they want to just share from their biography. Because 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the problem in most communications is I'm telling you from my personal life story. Oh, yes, here's my book. When this situation arose, this is what happened, and this is what you should do and not do to be successful. I'm not you, and you are not me. We are different people. And I feel like we stop honoring the differences in people, and like we honor sameness to too high of a degree. I don't like it if you think you're like me. You creep me out and you're weird because I am Latia and you are whoever you are. We are not the same. We are humans. We are all in this experience together. And I feel like we just need to value that, like, there are differences and it's okay. And if people don't want to explain their differences, that's okay. Like, if someone's non-binary and gender conforming, if you're going to be ignorant about it and rude, you're really going to put it on them to educate you so you can stop being ignorant and rude towards them. Like, to one degree, I get it. Like, I'm giving you an opportunity to explain your narrative and tell me about yourself. And on the other hand, that's being a jackass. Like, I met someone who was like that the other day, and it was cute and hilarious, and like, wow, you are ridiculous. Like, this is fun. I liked it in the moment. I thought it was great. It was like delightful. And I also feel like moods are cyclical. So some days I absolutely hate my job and everyone that I see, and I'm just like, oh, Lord, take me away. Calgon, take me away, as my mom said one time and explained where that came from. And then other days it's like, oh my God, I love being here. It's so fun. Like, I'm getting stuff done and it's flowing. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm mad that, like, I get bothered when things don't go well and I'm happy when things do go well. It's life. That's how relationships are. The only challenge that I know I see and have power over is, am I going to keep disengaging and continuing to just like want to not be where I am? Or am I going to learn how to show up and be in relationship with people even when it's difficult and I really just want to punch them in the face? Because I have those moments. And I have like little baby hands. I'm sensitive. I don't like to hurt people. I don't like to hurt myself, actually. I don't care if your feelings are hurt or things like that. As long as I feel like I operated in a way that doesn't hurt my feelings. So if I say something to you and I'm like, oh, that's fine. But if I say something, I'm like, wow, Latia, that was weird. And it's like, oh, it was weird. I'm so awkward. Oh my gosh, how could I do that? I beat myself up enough. I don't really need other people to do it for me. Like, I don't enjoy that. There's no value to it. But relationships get hard. You have 2 people with their own cycles, seasons, reasons, motivations, desires, and you're trying to find a way to coexist and like work together and be a team. And there are times where we forget that it's teamwork, it's connection, it's communication and engagement with your partner, and we just lose sight of the bigger goal. And that can happen, especially if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not attracted, I'm not engaged, I'm just not interested anymore. It's not the same as it was. It's like, yeah, things change, people evolve, relationships evolve. We can continue trying to recreate something that was a moment, or you can keep growing and expanding and blossoming in the tools that you have to connect with one another. So I would definitely check out The Sex Issue by Goop, and I would really check out Layla Martin, and she has courses where she talks about 6 different ways that you can have sex and connect with your partner so you can maintain that spark and like not get bored in relationships, because people can get boring, especially like when you hit that wall of intimacy and knowing. Like for me, I know at work, there are people where I'm like, you feel more like you're a robot than you're a human. And I get that you are human, but like the way that you operate and show up is just so boring to me. It's not fun. It's like all we talk about is work, and I'm like, I don't care about this job enough. And so if my interest isn't piqued and I'm not feeling connected to you on a human level, fuck you and the job. I don't care. Like, bye. But those are like the areas of relationships that I can like connect with in this, where there are those seasons and there are those phases. And I guess, like, for better or worse, most of my intimate encounters are whirlwind romances or like one-offs. There are a couple of people that like I connect with more than 2 or 1 time. Like, it's interesting. It's like there's a lot of one night encounters. There's like a couple of people who are like 2, and there are like a few people who hit like double digits sometimes. Like, it's very, very steep drop off, or I don't know. There's very few people who get that far with me, but it's not a bad thing. I feel like I enjoy it. It works for what I want. And like for those people where I do like get to like that level of depth and intimacy and connection, it's just fun. And we'll see where it goes. A lot of it is just having fun, enjoying the moment, being present. Because like when it comes to me, I can feel my energy like buzzing all over. And sometimes when I have those encounters with people, I feel more grounded and present and in my body. But there's a lot to relationships and sex and connection and intimacy and all the things that make us healthy, engaged human beings. And so please share this with someone if you feel like it could be of use to them. Please comment or like, let me know what's up, and see you next time.